last night's card, UFC 299, was so much fun. I don't even mind that my predictions were sort of terrible and embarrassing because it was such a good show. Yan and Song was really tight. The Burns and JDM fight stressed me out so much in the best way possible. So did Poirier and Saint-Denis, to be fair. But today, I want to talk about Sean O'Malley, the confirmed bantamweight champion. And so first of all, thank you so much to Cristobal and Jacob, who have both suggested pay-per-view recaps in the comment sections. I'd love to do fuller recaps in the future if you guys like this video, but I feel like I have quite a bit to ramble about Suga Sean this morning, so this video will probably be entirely dedicated to talking about him because, okay, based on the comment section of my previous video, my prediction video, it feels like O'Malley was favored to win, at least by our community, maybe like 2-1 from what I saw in the comments. But in general, I got the sense, like, not between us, but on the outside, that people aren't that excited about O'Malley, like specifically O'Malley being a champ. I don't know if it has to do with his image. Maybe he just doesn't look like your usual bantamweight. I'm sure there are a bunch of reasons. But for me, last night, he proved that that has to change. He showed up like a champion. He gave a masterclass on the bantamweight division, and I really think he deserves a little bit more respect as a fighter. So let's look at this fight, starting with round 1. And I do want to say, just before we start, major respect to Marlon Chito Vera, because, I mean, we'll get into this, but I would not be making this video if Chito wasn't such a tough opponent for O'Malley. Like, Sean is getting his props because he had to show up against such a strong opponent. So in round 1, it was all about accuracy for me. Sean comes out, claims the center of the octagon at first, but after about 30 seconds, Marlon sort of pushes him to the outside with his kicks, and I think it's actually a feint that makes Sean drop back a little bit, and Marlon is walking him down with quite an open guard. Like, his hands are away from the face, the elbows are a little bit wide as well, and it is remarkable because of the progression of Chito's guard throughout the fight. We'll talk about that. So Sean lands a couple strong kicks to the body to start for about, I think, just over a minute in now. And over the next few minutes, over the round, even though he's still on the outside, Sean starts working Chito's legs to start, throws in, I think, was it like an overhead punch at one point, which lands nicely, and he's keeping a good distance from Chito. Chito isn't landing half his shots. Sean is looking comfortable and confident. He's showing great movement, great footwork. He's moving to the center when he can, but he's also being very smart. We're seeing judges becoming sort of better developed in how to score a fight according to the actual rules of the UFC. This is a separate rant that I could go on and on and on about, but that's not this video. But octagon control is not the main objective here for Sean. He's mixing up his timing. Around the last minute of the round, it looks like Sean is starting to amp up his power a little bit, his aggression, and you see Chito's guard already starting to close up a bit, and that will make a huge difference in this fight. From here on out, the look, the perception for Chito wasn't as good because his guard just closed and closed and closed until he would just basically shell up every time Sean would feint or throw a jab his way. But I think we'll talk more about that next round. By the time the round ends, Sean has 75% accuracy on his strikes. Not a crazy output, but I think the best thing he did in this round was to scare Chito, make him feel his power, make him nervous a little bit. Like I said, you can watch it and see Chito's guard closing up pretty quickly over the first couple of rounds. By the way, my favorite, I feel like I'm talking quickly, but first of all, I have a lot to say. And second of all, I'm excited, like living this fight back. It was so good. But my favorite moment from that corner between rounds, the corner cams, is when Chito used his cornerman's shirt to wipe his nose. I think it was his nose. And the guy sort of looks away like, surely we have a towel or something. Round 2. Sean starts with a great spinning kick, really snappy. And then again, everything Sean throws down the middle, Vera just closes right up. He freezes up. So Sean is sort of building now on the work that he did in round 1. He's still very fresh, and he's throwing these feints and jabs that in themselves are pretty good defense, because Chito almost resets every time he closes up. He freezes, and so by the time he counters, by the time Marlon throws something back, Sean is not in the area to be hit. And speaking of defense, even though Sean just generally has a very open guard, very freestyle, he's quick. So despite Marlon increasing his output in the second round, he only lands 16 shots on Sean. Closer to the end of the round, Sean lands that huge knee. Another big turning point for the fight. He opens up Chito under one of his eyes, the right one, I think. And then with seconds left, another high kick, followed by a right hand that didn't go down as a knockdown, but certainly did some damage to Chito. And I think that's pretty much round 2. Sean looking for a big shot while he's still relatively fresh, 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes in, to at least wobble Chito and weaken him as much mentally as physically. My hair is doing too much today. Round 3. I should go through these a bit quicker, maybe. Round 3 to me is about letting Chito sort of play himself. Rounds 3 and 4 become desperation rounds for Chito. They're very clearly rounds 1 and 2, Sean's rounds. So now, the way math works, Chito has to either finish it or take every remaining round of the fight. So Sean, I even got a bit nervous because Sean was not letting off the gas pedal as much as I wanted him to, as someone who picked him to win. I was like, Sean, we're good. We're good. Do less. But clearly he wanted to finish, but he was really smart about the shots that he did take. He did lower his output from round 2, landed 35 of 58. But by being more reserved, using his fight IQ, this was the worst round for Marlon in terms of accuracy. He only landed 31% of his shots. So even though I say Sean did do more than he needed to in round 3 and in subsequent rounds, it didn't hurt him because he was very clever about it. And then the whole going to the wrong corner thing, I think that was between rounds 3 and 4. Sean goes to Chito's corner by accident. Chito's corner tells him that's a good sign. I don't think that was a sign of anything, really. I think Sean was busy staring down Chito. He looked calm and confident. I didn't take that to mean anything at all. Now that we know that something was up with his leg, my stomach's making sounds. Now that we know something was up with his leg, maybe that was a distraction. But yeah, it wasn't a big deal to me. It didn't make me feel any type of way, really. Round 4. To me, round 4 shows that O'Malley really has the mind of a champion. Obviously, these are Chito's desperation rounds. He comes out swinging. He's got no choice at this point. And clearly he landed some good shots because O'Malley's body language does change a bit. His posture isn't as wide open. He's breathing through his mouth. Something was up with his nose. But Sean does not let the haste get to him. And that's what I mean by the mind of a champion. This is Marlon's strongest round in terms of output, but Sean does not change his game plan. He stays calm, and that's a special trait as a fighter because he very, very easily could have gotten wrapped up again in the haste coming from Marlon, in the increased output, and he still was able to match that really cleverly, but without making mistakes. So again, just shows that Sean O'Malley really deserves a lot of love for, and his team as well, obviously, for what they've put together against such a strong opponent as Marlon Vera. Now between rounds, going into the final round, and my guy is just meditating on the stool. His corner tells him not to engage in the final round. He's won the fight already, and I'm thinking, great advice, but he's not going to listen to it. Meanwhile, Marlon's not even sure it's the last round. I think his cornerman tells him that okay, final round, and then he goes, this is the last round, like looking for confirmation. And I can't blame him. Again, nothing but love for Marlon Vera. He's taken some damage. I would not be conscious right now if I was him. And to that point, round 5, again, the fact, I can't say this enough, I'm repeating myself, but the fact that Marlon did not get knocked out is incredible. He's got amazing heart, but O'Malley realizes that he can do whatever he wants in this round, and instead of sitting back and waiting out the clock like his corner kind of told him to, like would be the smart thing to do on a level to retain your championship and guaranteeing the win, Sean O'Malley gives us a show. Lands 61 significant strikes after 20 minutes already of fighting, which is his best round of the night. The scorecards come back 50-45, 50-45, and 50-44. Sean O'Malley is getting better and better. It is evident how hard he's working, and he's only 29, pretty healthy, like still sound of mind, hasn't been knocked out properly. Like he's got a TKO loss, but his brain is fine, it seems. So I can't wait to see what he does for the next 3, 4, 5 years. He's getting better and better, and I feel like when he reaches his peak, because I don't think he's there yet, like I think we might have a long-term champ on our hands. And by long-term I mean like a few title defenses at least. I know everyone's really excited for Merab to come out and get a shot, and no hate to Merab. I think I said this in the last video. I'm excited for Merab to get these types of opponents. And that's it. People thought I was saying Merab didn't deserve a shot or anything. I think he's a fantastic fighter, and what I was saying in that video was give him the big fighters. I want to see what Merab can really do. So this fight against Sean, are we expecting him to get next? Probably. Should be fun. Should be a good time. But yeah, we'll see what happens to Sean over his next defenses. Really exciting. And that is basically my long-winded ramble about why I'm so impressed with Sean O'Malley after UFC 299, and why we need to put more respect on his name as a fighter and a champ. Again, nothing but respect for Marlon Vera. The guy put on a great fight for us. It's just that Sean O'Malley is that good. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts were on this fight and the rest of the fights on UFC 299. And on that note, I will see you in the next video.